Shalom WJC family, it's time for our weekly Torah Talk, and I wanted to share actually some Torah from my teacher, Rabbi Mordechai Silverstein, who was in fact my first Talmud teacher many years ago in Jerusalem at the conservative yeshiva, and he sent out some Torah on Parshat Re'eh, which is this week's Torah portion, that I think is so timely I wanted to actually pass it along and share it with you. Reb Mordechai puts out a beautiful Torah commentary and Haftorah commentary based on his expertise in Midrash every week. And Tammy and I are proud supporters of that weekly weekly commentary. So Parshat Re'eh says that there's going to be a prophet, or should there come a prophet or dreamer in your midst, a dreamer of dreams, and they give you a portent, a sign, right, a miracle. They make wonders happen, saying, "Let us go after other gods that you do not know and worship them. You shall not heed the words of that prophet or the dream of that dreamer, for the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your being." Now, this obviously is a very troubling idea for the rabbis who are commenting on this. What do you mean that a false prophet can do a real miracle or give real signs? And so what's going on here? By the way, the Torah seems to not have a problem with this. In many places, it talks about idolaters who are able to do real wonders. Modern days, we've learned to be a little skeptical. We understand sleight of hand and maybe tricks. But I think maybe we don't understand them as well as we used to with the advent of the internet and social media and very complicated digital fakes. And so there's a debate that rises between, in the Mishnah, between Rabbi Yossi Haglili and Rabbi Akiva. They used to argue a lot. Most famously, Rabbi Yossi Haglili thought chicken and cheese could be eaten together. Rabbi Akiva said absolutely not. And so, unfortunately, because Rabbi Akiva always wins these things, we are bereft of chicken parmesan. But that was not the only thing that they debated about. Rabbi Yossi Haglili taught that the Torah, see how amazing Scripture is, that it even grants idolaters dominion over the sun, moon, and stars, but says you should pay no attention to them because it's a test. So he seems to think that by using the tools of Torah and the connection of God in the world, that even idolaters can do amazing wonders. Rabbi Akiva said, God forbid that the Holy One should cause the sun, moon, and stars and constellations to stand still for the sake of idolaters. Rather, the verse speaks only of one who was originally a true prophet, and then when they were, performed signs and wonders, and then later became a false prophet, right? A true prophet that became an apostate. So the debate is interesting. Rabbi Yossi Haglili says that even an idolater, even someone with nefarious intentions can do real miracles, can perform real wonders. Rabbi Akiva says, no. What happens is that someone is a real true prophet, and then eventually they go off the path, and then they perform, so then we rely on them for the wonders they once performed, because they were once true and reliable. Now they're not, but it's hard to recognize that that's happened. So ultimately, what do we have to do? We have to have our core values in place and our understanding of the world through the lens of Torah and Jewish values, such that we're able to filter out whichever one of them is right? If they're true images, but being brought in a false context, like Rabbi Yossi Haglili thinks, or if they're false images being brought by a once reliable source, then, as Rabbi Akiva says, either way, these rabbis are telling us that we need to be vigilant, always aware that people are trying to make us think things that aren't true. And they can do it by using real images out of bad contexts, and they can do it with by having once been reliable, but now often suddenly bringing these images in unreliable ways or falsifying or whatever it might be. This Torah, and I again appreciate Reb Mordechai for bringing it to our attention, really, really speaks to me in this moment. I think we live in a time when we really are inundated with these images and we don't know what to believe and what not to believe. So many people are trying to get us to think so many things. And it's really easy to lose that core perspective, the strength of our convictions, wherever they might lie. And as usual, I'm not telling anyone what to believe and what not to believe, but only that it is our duty, our responsibility to suss out what is being put before us, and in that context, what we can rely on and what we can't. There is a battle going on for our attention. That is the commodity of our times. And in order to gain our attention, all kinds of people are trying to put all kinds of things in front of our faces in the face of the world. And it's very hard to discern what deserves our attention and what does not. By looking at this ancient midrash through a modern lens, I think we are being warned by our ancient sages that the responsibility is ours, that we have to have that core set of principles by which to filter these things, and that we will ultimately be held accountable for where we put our attention and what gods we follow, our God or the false gods that are being paraded before us. I pray that we're all able to use that discernment to grasp onto Torah and our Jewish values to follow in the right direction, and that peace comes soon and things settle down with all of these technologies and whatnot. We understand them better so that we are not so easily led astray by those whose intentions are false. In the meantime, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, a Shabbat of peace. Shabbat Shalom.